throwing out the rules to talk about Nouvelle Vague. This is Richard Linklater's homage to the French New Wave. It is in theaters now, and it'll be on Netflix in a couple of weeks. But what's it about? Tell us, Alonso.
Girl, we don't even have any filterless Gaulois. Like, we're doing it all wrong.
Chaque film est constitué de 5 films différents. Le film qu'on écrit, le film dont on distribue les rôles, le film qu'on tourne, le film qu'on monte, et le film qu'on sort.
This is a love letter to the French New Wave, and particularly to Jean-Luc Godard. This movie is about the making of Breathless, the 1960 film that pretty much changed cinema as we know it. And we begin with the critics at the Cahiers du Cinema, who are, of course, the architects of the New Wave. We meet Godard, played by Guillaume Marbeck. We meet François Truffaut, played by Adrien Rouillard. And a whole big cast of characters. Like Linklater obviously loves this moment in history, so people will show up on screen and they get a little on-screen identifier in case you wanted to know which ones were Jacques Demy and Agnès Varda, you know. It is about the process of filmmaking and the complications and the challenges and the delights. Godard is, itching to make a movie because all of his other, fellow critics have at least made their first feature by this point. We see the rapturous Cannes premiere for Truffaut's 400 Blows. And so Godard has this idea about a movie he wants to make kind of based on a true crime story, but also filtered through all of his other interests. And his shooting style is very unorthodox. He films when he feels like it, when he feels the muse, and when he doesn't, we're done for the day. Zoey Deutch plays Jean Seberg, who had just come off of making Otto Preminger's Saint Joan and Bonjour Tristesse, and is intrigued by the idea of working with this guy, although at the same time she's like, well, he's not Truffaut and he's not Claude Chabrol, thank you. And so the whole time she's very skeptical about the whole thing, but nonetheless kind of digs into it and gets with the program. Even though this is a film being shot without sync sound, she's working with Jean-Paul Belmondo, played here by Aubry Dullin, who has the face of Jean-Paul Belmondo, and they don't make a lot of those. So I don't know where they found this guy, but he is on point casting, and Zoey Deutch is giving great Jean Seberg too, totally. to be clear. And so weirdly, what I kept thinking about while watching this, I've mentioned before, my friend Dave Kittredge has a new documentary out on the festival circuit called Boorman and the Devil, about the making of Exorcist II: The Heretic. And while, yes, that movie was a catastrophe and Breathless is a classic, in both cases, you have these filmmakers who are sort of willing to throw the rules out the window and excited by the possibilities of the medium. And then another director who's excited by their excitement making a movie about it. And so here, Linklater, who is pointed to by so many contemporary filmmakers as being as influential as Godard. Sure. So many indie filmmakers like, well, Slacker made me realize I could make a movie for no money and with people I knew and very much on the fly. And obviously these filmmakers were that for Linklater. And so his love of this is coming through the way that the film has been shot to resemble the cinematography that Roland Cotard is doing on Breathless, by David Chambille. Again, sort of makes you feel like you are there in the moment watching this like amazing behind the scenes footage. So if you know nothing about the French New Wave and about Breathless and about the importance of these folks, I think this movie carries that and imbues that spirit and that thrill of filmmaking. And if you are a fan of the French New Wave, you'll just be thrilled to see a movie where they identify Jean Rouch, on screen. Why not? I had a great time with this.
I love this too. This movie is pure joy. And I think you're right. If you know all these people and all these touchstones, there are little Easter eggs and little joys to be found. But even if you don't, I think you can still enjoy it. So case in point, I saw this on Tuesday with my son's high school French class. Every year they take a field trip up to the Directors Guild Theater where they do the LA French Film Festival. They bring in high school kids from all over the city to show them a movie and expose them to foreign language films. So the movie they happened to be showing was Nouvelle Vague. And so I chaperoned it again. And I was like, yes, because I got to see it for work anyway. But it was so cool to see it through their eyes. And it was a wide variety of responses. So Nick, who knows a lot about film, but does not know anything about the French New Wave, didn't realize was that this movie they were making is a real movie. Like had a really good time watching it, like really enjoyed it, and like loved the spirit of it and all that. But when I explained to him, oh, Breathless is a real movie and this is about the making of it, he goes, oh, so it's like that movie. What's that movie about The Room? I'm like, The Disaster Artist? He's like, yeah, it's like that. So Tommy Wiseau is the Jean-Luc Godard of crap.
I'm sure we're not the first to say it, I'm sure.
But that was kind of fun. So he enjoyed it. And then there were girls in front of me waiting for line for the bathroom and going like, oh my God, they smoked so much back then. And like people fell asleep and everything in between. But I think you don't need to know any of that. And you can just get caught up in the energy of it. I mean, yes, it is shot in Academy ratio. It's in very grainy black and white. They got the cigarette burns to mark where to change the reels. It's very authentic in replicating this era, but it's not so like attuned to detail that it's like a shot for shot Psycho remake. It's not that at all. It's got its own vibe and its own energy and a real playfulness to it. It's so funny because Godard is such a pain in the ass, right? He's so capricious and so unpredictable and wants what he wants. And he wants to throw all the rules out, but then he's also very rigid about the way in which he's throwing the rules out. But then you realize like, oh, it's just his energy is so infectious.
Yeah.
That skeptics get swept up in it.
Yeah. People find themselves on board with him, you know.
Totally. The amount of care though, like we got these little like pamphlets that went along with like a little program. Like they went to so much trouble with the costume design to recreate Gene Seberg's very famous little New York Herald Tribune sweater and various outfits. Like they worked with Chanel on various outfits to get all this totally right. Because if you know, you know.
Sure. Yeah. No.
And the haircut, like she looks so much like Gene Seberg.
Yeah, I mean,
like her.
We've had a lot of Sebergs lately, and they've all been good in different ways. Like I think I don't love the movie, but Kristen Stewart in Seberg is great, and of course, Mary Beth Hurt in From the Journals of Gene Seberg is doing kind of a an older version of the character. And yeah, what's exciting about this one is that I think Dave and I were talking about this very often. The narrative about Gene Seberg is the tragedy of it all, that she died young and that she was, mistreated by the press and all these different things. And that's certainly part of her story. But this is the kind of young Seberg of possibilities. This is a woman who is getting away from like the thumb of Otto Preminger and who is excited about the prospects of what else she can do with her career. And this movie made her like an international star, and the people copied her haircut. It was a whole thing.
Right.
So yeah, so to see her like have this, a seemingly, happy marriage, although it did end pretty soon after that, having this flirtation with Belmondo, sparring with Godard, like she's a fascinating character, and she's, it's not about oh poor Jean,
Yeah, and we talk about process all the time around here. So like the process of filmmaking, like using a wheelchair for a tracking shot or whatever.
Or hiding
it is,
somebody in a cart so that they can like shoot on the streets of Paris and people will be extras without knowing it.
Yeah, and like the care it took to get to the right moment, like when the street lights would go on, like, so it's very on the fly, but then they're also, figuring it out as they go along for budgetary constraints and just for Godard just being, unreliable in general and then totally manic and focused at, different moments in time. I really love the energy of this and just like the fun of all the behind the scenes stuff. And I think if you enjoy film in general, you'll enjoy watching this.
Yeah, if you're the kind of movie fan who like the fact that you get to see Jean-Pierre Melville on the set or, Robert Bresson in the subway shooting pickpocket, like that's just catnip. But again, even if you're not, even if these names mean nothing to you, this is just an exciting movie about art being created. And if it in turn inspires you to at least go watch Breathless, if not other films of this era, great.
Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting contrast with Blue Moon, which just came out like a week or two ago, as far as Linklater exploring the creative process. And it's wordy in the way that Linklater films tend to be. And so just those two make an interesting kind of pair of bookends. One is a very crowd pleasing, Oklahoma is like wholesome American crowd pleasing entertainment. And Breathless was like taking chances and daring and small and anyway, so it's interesting. The gamut of Linklater.
They're both about people who are good at their jobs.
Good at their jobs. We enjoy that. And also, so our Breathless review is out there now too.
Yes.
If you have been a channel member, you've been able to watch our Breathless review. Prior to that, it was on our Patreon, but we made it public today. So after you watch this, you can watch our Breathless review. I'll link to that in the end little card thingy here. So I'm going to say like an 8.7. This is really fun.
Yeah, I'm right with you. 8.8. I thought this was terrific, and I really, really was impressed by the performance of Guillaume Marbeck as Godard, because again, he is playing this character who is both a pain in the ass and yet really charismatic, and he bridges that very well with a lot of humor.
Totally. And it's not just like an impression, you know, he's nailing a lot of the presence and all of that, and has to spew the sayings that Godard is known for. But it's a tricky performance. He pulls it off. So yes, Nouvelle Vague is in theaters now for a couple of weeks, and then will be on Netflix. Check it out.